Alright, so for this video I want to go over real quick negative numbers. I want to talk about how we add them, how we subtract them, what do we do with the signs when we multiply them, and what do we do with the signs when we divide them. So let's start off with the basics. So let's start with an easy addition problem that you should be able to do easy peasy, and you'll think I shouldn't be asking you. So let's do 5 plus 4. So we know that equals 9 because we're adding 4 things to 5 things to get us a total of 9 things, right? So now what if we subtract? What if we do 5 minus 4? So we know that gives us 1 because we're taking 4 away from 5. So now what's interesting is when you add a negative number, it's the same thing as subtracting a number from another number. So let's write out, what if we wrote it out like this? So I'm going to write out 5 plus negative 4. So I'm still taking away things in this problem. I'm still taking away 4 from 5. So it's the same thing as 5 minus 4. And I know that that equaled 1. So when you add a negative number to another number, you will still get it being in the form of a number minus a number. Now what if we do a negative number, say negative 6, minus a number? So you see 2 minus signs here, right? So we have 2 minus signs there. That just means we're getting more and more negative. We're going down. We're getting smaller. If we were on a number line, I'm going to put a number line up here in red. We say this is 0. Okay, so negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So we're right here, right? So if we're going, oh sorry, 4, negative 5. So we're right here. We're starting at negative 6. If we go down, we're going down, and we're getting more negative if we go down 3, right? So we're going down to here. I'm going to circle where we'd be at. We'd be at negative 9. So we can say that's negative 9. Now, there's an easier way to think about this. You can look at this and say, oh, I see 2 minus signs. There is nothing else in front of my minus signs other than the numbers. You can think of it as just adding regular numbers. So you can look at it and say, oh, guess what? I can do 6 plus 3. And then I can drop a minus sign in front of it. So we know 6 plus 3 is 9. And we know that we can just plop a negative sign in front. So when you see a negative number minus a number, then you can say we can add those 2 numbers like the regular positive numbers and then just drop a negative sign in front of them. Okay. Now, I know you're probably thinking, what if I have a negative number minus a negative number like that? Well, when you see double negatives or 2 negatives in a row, I want you to circle it and it becomes positive. Double negatives in math mean you turn it to a positive. So those two minuses will go away and you put a plus in there instead. So you'll have negative 5 plus 4. Now, negative 5 is right here. So if we go up 4, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, we end up at negative 1. So we're going to put negative 1. Notice that when we add a number to a negative number and it's a positive number, we're going up because we're getting closer and closer to those positive numbers. So we're actually going, instead of our number being more negative, we're getting less negative and more positive. Alright, so now I'm going to create a new page real quick so we can go over how to multiply and divide negative numbers. Alright, so let's do multiplication first, because that's a little bit easier than division. So let's think of a pretty nice little multiplication thing. A little nice fact. 3 times 2 we know is 6. Now, what if I put a negative in front of that 3? If I put a negative in front of that 3, that means we'll have one negative in the whole equation, right? Or on this side. On this side of the equal sign, we only have one negative, right? So, I don't want you to worry about the signs at all yet. I want you to only think about the number times the number. So only think about 3 times 2. We know that equals 6. Now, we have one negative sign. When we only have one negative sign, we just put it over here. When it's a negative times a positive, or a positive times a negative, we have an end result that is negative. Now, if it was something like this, where it was negative 3 times negative 2, we would have a different result. So only worry about the numbers, right? We know 3 times 2 is 6. We always worry about the numbers first. Now we can worry about the signs. Notice we have 2 negative signs. So when we have a negative times a negative, it turns to positive. So we have a positive end result, or a positive 6. And this type of reasoning is the same for division. So if we did 8 divided by negative 4, I'm doing a positive divided by a negative. So I know 8 divided by 4 is 2. And since I'm doing positive divided by negative, there's only one negative. That means I put a negative out here. And if I do a negative 8 divided by a negative 4, notice you'll see that I have 2 negatives. When I divide a negative by a negative, my end result is positive. So I get a positive 2 for negative 8 divided by negative 4. So those are some quick brief explanation about what we can do with adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing negative numbers. I hope this helped, and I'm signing off here for this video. Please have a good rest of your day. Thank you.